long, and every time you try to resist, they put you in jail.
For my children.
You've controlled your mind for so long to the point where you let them decide what your kids should learn, what gender they will be. And now you've let them to come for the whole nation, destroying what Britain once stood up for. They use this media machine not to report the facts to you, but to tell you what to think and what you should do.
Always be careful.
They're hiding the facts behind the noise, and they're recruiting pedophiles to tell you how to behave. And these politicians who meant to protect you, they're out there smashing your head on the ground. And no jail time for them. This road we've been on has been very dark for a very long time, and it's time to shine a light on the truth and advocate for justice. We the people make the nation, and if we don't stand up and advocate for justice, then we certainly won't make this nation great again. So we have to create a place for that, a place that can contribute to a more informed society. And that place is Next Frontier Media.
Armed and local officers were on scene within 13 minutes of the 999 call. On arrival, we were made aware that a 12-year-old boy had also been stabbed, and the boys have been taken to hospital. We await an update on how they are, though we understand their conditions to be serious. The thoughts of everyone at the Met are with them and their loved ones, and we want to thank the doctors and nurses who are providing the boys with urgent care. The suspect, who we believe to be 13, left the scene following the stabbing. After urgent inquiries,
ladies
our
and
officers
gentlemen,
arrested him
patriots,
and also recovered a weapon.
truth seekers, digital warriors, welcome back to the show. This is Britain today. Young kids are carrying knives in school. They are stabbing each other up. This is a problem that needs to be fixed. I've been talking about this for a very long time. It looks like nobody wants to do anything about it. Everyone is always ready to say, oh, apologies. But witnesses claim the attacker shouted Allahu Akbar during the stabbing at school that left boys injured. 2 young boys. This is insane, folks. And it looks like we're just getting started. We always think like, oh yeah, it happened one time, so it's not gonna, it's not gonna happen again. It's just one little incident, I guess. Just a boy. He was, mental health. Nobody cared about him. That's why he went out there and stabbed over people. But this is what's taking place, and this has been going on for a very long time now. So let me just set this stage, right? Oh God, this is crazy, folks. This is insane. So let me just bring out the article here. Daily Mail did a piece. I think everybody has touched on it. Everyone has touched on it, but let's just read the one that we can find. Witnesses claim the attacker shouted Allahu Akbar during the stabbing at the school left boys injured. A boy, 13-year-old, launched a stabbing rampage in school on Tuesday, literally a couple hours ago, leaving 2 children fighting for their lives. In a suspect terror attack in the middle of the class, just hours before lunch. Teenager pulled out a knife and stabbed a 13-year-old boy in the neck and at the back, shouting Allahu Akbar, witness said. Second later, a second boy aged 12 was knifed in front of screaming children at this Kingsbury High School in Brent, North West London. This is insane, folks. This is becoming a new normal. It's becoming a new normal now where young kids are carrying knives. How many times do we need to sit here and report this? Now, of course, they didn't release the name. They didn't release the pictures. This is a big case. The counterterrorism police is on this case already. They have not classified it as a terrorist attack. But the way it is, it looks like they even said, if I just carry on here on this article, they even said this was a ideologically motivated attack. You make sense you make that what you will. So this was an ideological attack. Now, here's a full report from the Telegraph. They also reported on this. The Telegraph also reported on this. Counter-terror police lead investigation into the school stabbing 2 boys aged 12 and 13 in serious condition after American-style attack in northwest London. Counter-terror police, 2 boys in which happened in Kingsbury High School on Beacon Lane in Brent on Tuesday lunchtime. On Tuesday evening, a 13-year-old boy was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Parents suggest that suspect may have been suspended or was a former pupil at that school and was armed with a sharp weapon when he launched what was described as an American-style attack. We see this all the time, folks. Every single freaking time this is happening. It's becoming a new normal. 13-year-old, 11-year-old, 9-year-old. It literally happens to every single person. One victim has been held as a hero for attempting to raise the alarm before the attacker chased him down. Detectives said that the attack had not been declared as a terrorist incident, but the counter police were leading investigation because of the surrounding circumstances of this attack. Yeah, I want to know why. I want to know what that is. So the Metropolitan Police have come out and they've issued a statement, and this is what they had to say. I think it's important that you listen to them. They always come out when things like this happen, and they're gonna tell us that they're sad. They're gonna tell us that they're working really hard, but then again, it happens almost every single week.
First, though, to North London, the scene of the stabbing at the school, and let's listen to the police.
Armed and local officers were on scene within 13 minutes of the 999 call. On arrival, we were made aware that a 12-year-old boy had also been stabbed, and the boys have been taken to hospital. We await an update on how they are, though we understand their conditions to be serious. The thoughts of everyone at the Met are with them and their loved ones, and we want to thank the doctors and nurses who are providing the boys with urgent care. The suspect, who we believe to be 13, left the scene following the stabbing. After urgent inquiries, our officers arrested him and also recovered a weapon which we believe to have been used in the stabbing. The suspect was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and remained in custody for questioning by our officers. This is a fast-moving and developing investigation, but we're not currently looking for anyone else in relation to this incident. At this very early stage, we're keeping an open mind as to any motivation behind this attack. However, due to the surrounding circumstances, the investigation is now being led by officers from Counter-Terrorism Policing London, who are working closely with our local officers in response to this incident. The investigation has not currently been declared a terrorist incident, and the investigation team will now be working at pace to gather any evidence and to establish the full circumstances of what has happened as quickly as possible. I absolutely recognise that this incident will cause considerable concern, especially amongst the local community, students and parents of the school. I hope the news that we've arrested and detained the suspect will provide some reassurance, but our officers will remain in the area to offer support and answer any questions. We'd encourage anyone with concerns or further information to speak with them, and will provide further updates as additional facts emerged. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, so this is what we get. I mean, how many times do we need to get this? How many times do we need to see these guys coming here and telling us and reporting to us, oh yeah, this is what happened. They're just reading a script. they could be working to prevent this from happening. And the question needs to be asked: how come a young boy, a 13-year-old boy, was able to get into a school with a knife? Do the school not have like a way to make sure no sharp weapons get brought into the school? I'm sure there's a way. I know I was in high school not long time ago. I remember I still remember all my teachers' name. It's not long ago. I was in high school. I remember seeing a guy being stopped at the door for carrying a knife in school. And I'm from Salford, by the way, so we see a lot of these crazy stuff. He was stopped at the door bringing a knife in school. Thank God he was stopped. God knows what he was trying to do. I mean, can we not? I get it. Yeah, we can stop some, but some other people slip through. But it looks like a lot of people are slipping through. It looks like maybe the people, maybe the people in uniform are turning the blind eye, including the teachers. This is happening so many times now, where young boys are carrying knives, going into school and stabbing each other up. And we don't know the situation about the 2 young boys who got stabbed. All we know is that this young man who went out there and stabbed these other the two young boys, this is what he said before stabbing them. He shouted, well, witnesses claim that this man shouted Allahu Akbar before during the attack. And then the police says this attack was ideologically motivated. Okay, so the attack was ideologically motivated. The kid shouted Allahu Akbar during the attacking. Okay, so what do we do here? So the police says this was an ideological motivating attack. The witnesses say that he shouted Allahu Akbar during the attack. Should I say should I shout the elephant in the room? What could it be? Who's to blame? Which ideology is to blame? If it was an ideological attack and he shouted Allahu Akbar while he was doing it, which ideology this is? We gotta shout it out. We can't just blur out the words and just hope everybody gets it. No, we have to say how it is so everybody at home can understand. If you shouted Allahu Akbar, he must have been a Muslim. And of course, we will never know because, of course, the name is obviously, we won't know what name he was, how he looks like, what's his name, where is he from, how long has he been in the country. And then parents have said, according to this article, parents suggest that the suspect may have been suspended or have been a former pupil at the school. So this guy was either not attending that school right now, was not enrolled into that school. So how did he get inside if that's true? Because that's what parents are suggesting. Parents are suggesting that this suspect may have been a suspended or a former pupil. So how did he get in school if he's not registered in that school? All these are questions that we need to ask, and the police comes here to give us more information and they give us nothing. They come there, they sit there with a teleprompter, with a script, and you would think that they actually took their time to write this script and give us the information that a lot of people will be asking, but they give us basically nothing. Just blurry lines. And what, we meant to just go home and be like, all right, police will take care of it? What, they meant to be taking care of it. This took place because they didn't take care of it. We're in this situation because they didn't take care of it. Now, a 12-year-old and a 30-year-old boy is currently right now fighting for their lives in hospital. We don't know their current situation, but the school said they are taking care, they have things under control, and the school is not going to be active tomorrow. It's not going to be open tomorrow. This is crazy, folks. It's insane. Something needs to be done, or are we just going to sit here and just hope that it doesn't happen to any of our family members? Because that's what it looks like. It looks like all we're doing right now is just hope that it doesn't happen to our family members. We know it's happening. We know it might we know it's going to happen. We just hope that it doesn't happen to us or somebody that we love. Because it's happening. It's like it's inevitable that it's going to take place somewhere else. It's like one of those things where you know in the UK it's going to rain. When you know in Manchester it's going to rain. It's not like a thing, it might not rain. No, you know it's going to rain. That's what it's like when it comes to crime, knife crime in the UK. You know somebody's going to be stabbed, either in school or in a mall, supermarket, or in the streets, or in some random places, or at the barbershop, whatever. You know somebody's going to be stabbed. But no, the police still think that, oh yeah, we still got it under control. And it's crazy that a lot of people at home actually believe them. A lot of people at home think, yeah, the police actually have it under control. Do they really have it under control? Because if they did, we wouldn't be in this situation. If they did, why are we even reporting this sort of thing? You know, I don't think any kid should be in this situation. I don't think a 13-year-old deserves to be fighting for their life. All they did is just they turned up to school. They went to school. Is that a crime? Punishable by a knife wound? This is where we are, folks. It's a huge problem and it needs to be tackled now. The fact that a 13-year-old can go in school and stab another 13-year-old and a 12-year-old, that's when you know the society we've lost it. We've lost control. Where young people think it's okay for them to go there and stab another young person. That's when you know, like, all right, this is done. All right, folks. This is just breaking news here. I know it's very late at night, but it's important that you get to know these stories because it moves so fast. Stuff like this happens so quick. It happens so much, but obviously we live in a world where it's so busy, constant notification, constant stuff. There's stuff happening almost every single second. So if you don't report on it, it just goes. It happens, we move on. It happens, we move on. And that's how easy it is now. You can't hold the police accountable. You can't hold the government accountable for keeping this thing, for turning a blind eye on this. You can't hold them accountable because it's happening almost every single time. And you know what they rely on? They rely on time because time will just get everything moving and we're just going to move on. So it's important to report on these things, folks. It's super important. All right. Man, this is, yeah, we need Jesus Christ. But here's more information from GB News. By the way, this is the location. It happened in Bacon Lane in Brent, northwest London. So here's how this is the school from the Google Maps. Just orbiting around. That is the area. That is the school. Now here's GB News reporting on this. GB News, the investigation is being held by counterterrorism police. Here's GB News. Listen to this, folks.
Yeah, a bit more detail from the Metropolitan Police on the circumstances and the arrest of this 13-year-old boy. They say that officers were called to Bacon Lane in Brent at around 20 to 1 this afternoon following reports that a 13-year-old boy had been stabbed. Armed and local officers were on the scene within 13 minutes of the 999 call. On arrival, we were made aware that a 12-year-old boy had also been stabbed and both boys have been taken to hospital. They say we await an update on how they are, though we understand their conditions to be serious. They go on to say the thoughts of everyone in the Met are with the loved ones and those emergency responders. The suspect, who's believed to be 13 years old, left the scene following the stabbing. After urgent inquiries, our officers arrested him and also recovered a weapon, they say, which we believe to have been used in the stabbing. Now, it goes on to say the suspect was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and remains in custody. This is a fast-moving and developing investigation, but we're not currently looking for anyone else in connection with the incident. However, they say at this very early stage, we're keeping an open mind as to the motivation behind the attack. And due to the surrounding circumstances, they say, the investigation is now being led by officers from the Counter-Terrorism Policing Unit in London, who are working closely with local officers. This has not currently been declared a terrorist incident, and the investigation team will now be working at pace to gather any evidence and to establish the full circumstances of what happened here, Michelle. But they are now handing this over, at the moment at least, to Counter-Terror Command, who are taking control of the investigation, they say, rather cryptically, because of the surrounding circumstances. We don't know exactly what those surrounding circumstances may be. They acknowledge, the police say, that this is very worrying to local residents, but they again are at pains to reiterate that they are not looking for anyone else in connection with this double stabbing earlier this afternoon.
Thank you very much for bringing us up to speed on that one. And
all right, folks, that is what's going on. So you send your kid to school, and then of course there's a lot of things that you get from school now. Before, it used to be that you send your kid to school and the only thing that they get is education. They get taught how to become a good. They get, you know, a little way of living, a little bit of what life really is. They get a little bit of taste of life. They get, of course, knowledge into various things in the world, and they get caught up in history. And, you know, they get fascinated with things that they can do in life, and, you know, discovering new ideas and the debating back and forth. That's the thing that you used to get from school, right? You know, you used to send your kids and be like, yeah, I'm going to go pick him up later on today at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. And everything will be fine, right? Nowadays, you kind of, you know, when you give your kids to school, they don't just get the education that you hope they do. They don't just get the education that they should be getting. They get way more crap than that. They will, you know, they might come back and say, hey, I'm in the wrong body. They might come back and say, hey, all these other stuff that they might think, you know, all the ideology that the teachers pushed in them. They might come back with all these other ideas, which you're thinking, hey, I didn't send this kid to school to learn all this. Or maybe you might be called to be informed that your kid has been stabbed or been killed. I mean, so many families, so many mothers, so many brothers and sisters I've received calls like this, and today 2 parents received a call like this. You know, 2 loved ones received a call like this today, telling them that your little boy, sadly, has been rushed to a hospital because we didn't do a good job. And yeah, it just keeps on happening, and I don't know when it's gonna end. It's like everybody's almost it's like we hope it's not us and it's not our family member. It happened in Sheffield with Harvey Wilgust. You remember Harvey Wilgust? Last year, February. It happened. I was in shock. I was here reporting to you guys. I was in shock. But Sheffield was, the way they sent him off was really, really, I mean, Sheffield United, the football club, did so well in helping the family. You can tell that's a community out there. Of course, we don't want that to be happening to a lot of kids. We don't want that to happen to anyone's kid. But Harvey Wilgust, do you remember him? Yes, make sure you remember him. His life was taken, a 14-year-old kid, 14, his life was taken away by Ahmed Mohammed or Ahmed something, who stabbed him 1 time in the chest. And that's it, his life was done. A 14-year-old boy, he didn't even see anything in life. The guy was probably in year 9, year 8, and that's it. His life is done. Not because he did something horrible, not because he was like a Hitler or some shit. No, because he just turned up to school. And this is what we have today, where young boys turn up to school and that's it. Their life could be taken away by another young boy, which is a crazy thing that we have. Over young boys are doing this. If with Ivy Wilgus, he was another 15-year-old boy, a classmate who they had a little bit of back and forth before. And today, that it was another young boy who came into the class. Parents are suggesting that this young boy was not meant to be at this school, was suspended before what they're suggesting. So they're making the claims. I don't know if this is true. Parents are suggesting that this young boy who did this was suspended or was a former pupil at that school. So he was not registered to this school, if that is true. But he still made his way in with a sharp weapon. And he got himself in a situation where he was able to actually stab these kids. And he did. And now we're here to report, basically. It's like Harvey Wilgus, Sheffield repeating again. Yeah, this is crazy, folks. We gotta sort this out. We gotta sort this out for sure. We have to. All right, man. I'll leave you on that. Just a quick report here. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll keep you guys updated on this. If more information are released. I hope we get to see this young man's picture, this 13-year-old man's picture. I hope we get to see his face. I hope we get to see where is he from, who is he, and why was he there? Is he a student there? If he is, okay. Has he ever done anything like this? Did the police turn a blind eye? Was it like a thing that happened before? Why did he do such a thing? Or maybe if he's not a student there, we need to know how the heck did he get inside the school? Who let him in? All of these questions are important. Of course, the police won't give you these questions, and the media don't even ask these questions. It's like the mainstream media, when they turn up, maybe Sky News, BBC, whatever, they turn up to these conferences and they come with some stupid questions. Well, ask the real questions that the public wants to know. Like, who's this guy? Show his face. What's his name? Why did he do this? Those are important questions. We don't want no silly questions. These are important questions we need to know. Why did the school not do enough? How did he make inside the school? Do they not have a metal detector that finds and scans knife? Do they not have anything that can stop something like this from happening? Was there any sort of money that was invested into the school and the school didn't do anything about it and they just wasted the money somewhere else? On some other project like, drag queens and all this crazy stuff. All these are relevant questions. These are important questions. These questions need to be asked and they need to be answers to it. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too much. As you already know, it's too late. Thank you so much for all you guys who have tuned in today. I'll leave you on that. But without further ado, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll keep you guys updated tomorrow. Tomorrow's show at 4 p.m. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Be here with more information. We're gonna look into this and we're gonna tell you more about it. But thank you. Have a great night and keep your kids safe. Keep your kids safe. Get back into your kids' life. Get back into these, just do your research. Nothing. You can't let the state take care of you and your kid anymore. You got to do more now. Let's get back into our family members' life. Let's get back into it. I know how it might be uncomfortable. It might be a hard work. Yes, it is. It's a hard work to take care of your of a 13-year-old kid who thinks they know everything. I know it's hard. I got a little brother. Yes, it's hard. It's hard. It's difficult when they think they know everything. But it's time for us to start getting back into our young kids' life. We need to know what's going on. We need to get so close so we need to get so close that we know their phone password. That's how close we need to get. Because anytime they could be taken away from us by another young boy. This is dangerous, folks. I'll leave you on that and good night.
censored, shadow banned. That's what they did to us. But the truth, my friend, will always find the frequency. I call this Operation Airwave Liberation because I'm not just back, I'm broadcasting from ruined. But this time, the airwaves is mine. And this time, it's uncensored. I watched them strip everything that we built. No warning, no explanation, silence, just taking everything away. 300 plus videos, deleted, all gone. And if you think this is about community guidelines, you've not been paying attention. This is a war. This is a digital gulag dressed in a terms of service type of way. They want us gone because we're saying things that they don't like. Maybe we're asking questions because we're curious. They don't like the questions we're asking. Or maybe we refuse to play nice in this echo chamber that we're in. They first hit me with the algorithm. The video is not getting enough views. Then they hit me with the monetization. Well, no money for you. But guess what? They forgot to hit my will. They thought that'll be enough. It's gonna cave and it's gonna run away. But guess what I did? I rebuilt, I rewired, I learned the game behind the curtains and see how they operate. I'm not just back. We're launching Operation Airwave Liberation. No filters, no masters, just signals. The signal they tried to block, but this time is very strong. The wind can't even penetrate through this. This, my friend, isn't just about me. It's about all of us. Every single voice that's been cancelled, clipped and used in the wrong way by the media. From now on moving forward, I'm not just creating content anymore. I'm sorry. I'm building a resistance on camera, off grid and above the algorithm. And if you are watching this, you are the resistance. This channel isn't just a platform. This is a broadcast tower for the truth. I'm glad I'm back.